What is the purpose of the ego? Hi innately whole beings, I'm Viktor, Sághy, intuitive coach and heart leader. Today we will talk about what is the purpose of the ego. Why do we have the ego and what does the ego want? First of all, what is the ego? The ego is the product of our left hemisphere. There are different kind of explanation for this, and I'm not talking about someone being egoistic, arrogant, or something like that. Although that's part of it, but the ego itself is much more than that. The ego is basically the thoughts, the analyzing, labeling part. Whenever we name something, we already put a judgment on that specific thing. If I name my hand as a hand, I create a concept out of it that this is a hand. But actually, there is no hand, because what I always say is we know that our skin breathes. If we know that our skin breathes and my hand is breathing, when does the air become my hand, and when does my hand become the air? Things are like my hand, just atoms or molecules or light or vibration, however you want to explain it. But there is no difference between this and the air. There is no difference between me and the background and the camera and you. Really, we are part of one word, part of this one thing. We all connected through our mind, our being. We breathe the same air in and out. The separateness is just a concept. It's just the concept of the mind. The hand is just a concept of the mind. In the same way, me as a separate thing, someone who borns and dies, is just a concept, a construct of the mind. And that's what the ego is. The ego is basically a sense of self, a sense that I am this, and I am separate from everything else. Why do we talk about it? So if you've done spiritual work before, and if you are here, you more likely done, then you heard a lot about the ego, and that we should get rid of the ego, kill the ego, all of these. So the thing is that if I would need to give one reason why we talk about the purpose of the ego and why we should kill the ego, although I would say that will be something else, is because the ego itself makes us unhappy. The ego, you see, is all about analyzing. It seems never to be happy with where it is. It always jumps in the future, it always jumps in the past, it always analyzes the situation, the people around it, it always analyzing everything and puts these names, labels on it. And the problem with that is that it limits the possibilities, it creates an illusion about the things. But actually those things are not the label itself. So we mistaken that our happiness depends on some external things. We mistaken that we need to be something, and we mistaken that we are not enough, because the ego itself, because it's separated, it cannot be enough. So the ego has one purpose, is that it tries to keep this concept, created illusory concept, alive and safe. So because of that, it has to analyze everything in the future, looking for threats in the past, looking for things we can be depressed about, we didn't do right. So it's always judges, and in that way it's really harmful if you want to live a happy life, or either if you want to achieve something. The ego often comes in the way, because either it brings you to a not authentic place, or either if you achieve something, you believe that you made it, but you still won't be happy. Therefore, it's again an unauthentic place. Should we kill the ego? No. The ego, the thoughts, will be always there. It's just the nature of the mind. It's just the nature of us. So I don't think we should do anything about it. Actually, the only way that we can do anything about it is to don't do anything about it. And that's the paradox. The only way you can control your mind or ego is that to learn that it's not as valuable as we thought. Therefore, we don't need to do anything about it. We just should watch, observe reality for what it is. We should just observe the thoughts, the mind for what it is, and just don't worry about it, and it will settle on its own. So you see, the ego's, the mind's purpose is to keep us safe, alive, this concept, to preserve it, but actually that itself is an illusion, because this as separate doesn't exist. And once you learn that experiencing reality, living from a place where I experience that I'm already innately whole and connected, is much more fulfilling, and thoughts will just lose their value, and mindfulness will naturally happen. It won't be effortful. But for that you should realize that thoughts are illusions, and the image it creates is an illusion as well. So that's my message for you today. I'm glad that you were here, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next video. If you like this video, hit the like button below, comment in the comment section. Do you agree with this? What's your concept about, or your experience about the mind? And I would love to hear from you. Again, see you in the next video, and remember, you are innately whole. Bye.